camera, quite straight. Flipped it around on the stand yesterday for Zoom get together with some friends. That's looking a little bit better. There we go. Oh, sat down now, tip it down. There we go. So good morning, Bank Holiday Monday. The youngest one's down here. Hannah's about, and I think the rest of asleep.
No, I am.
He isn't, he's awake.
Yeah.
I'm just watching the cat playing with its friend from next door in the garden. That's pretty cute.
The cat next door is a girl, Dad, not a boy.
Oh, they're playing together
Yeah.
in the garden. Playing a bit of hide and seek, nighttime, daytime or something. Right, just grab my coffee across. I'll go on the blue cup. So if you're having a good Easter weekend, Bank Holiday Monday, but I'm still doing my 8 AM workout, so I've just gone through my normal kind of morning really, even though it's Bank Holiday Monday. Years and years ago, basically used to work all bank holidays, because back when I was just working in restaurants, it was always duck time. I was working at motorway services. Then when I was with Frankie and Benny's, I was in management. Same as my management, actually, with motorway services. You basically were expected to work on bank holidays as a manager because you're paying the staff more. So to get the staff costs down, you had to be in and do kind of their normal work as well. Plus, usually quite busy. Particularly one of the services I worked at was very much a hotspot for bank holiday travel, football matches, things like that. And so that was one of the things used to need to do. And then when I was with Fitness First, particularly in management, you could get an extra day holiday if you work bank holiday. Often, like the sales guys or whatever, they'd want to be off, so they'd be in to fill in for those. So kind of having a bank holiday rest mentality has always been difficult, I would say, difficult to have. And I'm quite habitual with routine, so sometimes I find that Monday off can throw Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday out. When I was a teacher, bank holidays tend to fall in school holidays, so Good Friday, Easter Monday, they're in school holiday. The May half term is usually built around at least one of the bank holidays, although this year it's on a Friday. So yeah, learn to have a bank holiday, learn to have a little rest later on. Cool. You come in, bring your cup. Talking about habits, I've been rereading a book. It's called Habits. It's only a little book.
Oh, babe, we match.
I know, we've both got singers on now. And it's actually through an organisation for a company. It's PTDC, which is Personal Trainer Development Centre, and that is also linked to the Online Trader Academy. So it's a guy called Jonathan Goodman, who is a bit of probably the leading voice and what's the word? Training provider, content provider for the world of personal training, and particularly the online world. And I know, I just realised, look how high that is up. So this is the cafetiere, and usually this goes all the way down, but I put too much coffee in. I think I put an extra scoop in there, and it can actually
Did you
push all
add
the way down.
coffee in?
Yeah, you've done it
I'd
already.
already put coffee in. There's now 6 scoops of coffee in there.
Wow, okay, so it's going to be a good workout at 8 o'clock. Going to be high, but anyway, talking about habits and OTA, and so basically rereading the book. A bad habit of mine is to get books or information, start to use it, and then not finish it. So I've never even opened the second book that comes to this package. So that's later in the week. But I'm just working my way through these properly. And in a sense, there's nothing kind of new or special about what's being said in there. Having been on different training courses and management and time management and setting goals and all that sort of stuff, it just presents it really quite simply. And off the back of kind of refreshing my mind on that, I created a kind of a end of week system called Reflect and Refocus for my guys in my NW Fitness Online group, and there's nothing in a sense special about that. I've seen it done in different ways before, so I sent that out, and then this writing is my spidery writing. I've just run through the system this morning. Technically, I said it's a good habit for a Sunday night, but Monday morning was good for me. It was good for me. So basically, I've just looked at 3 wins from last week, why they were good things, how they came about, what I'm going to focus on next week, and something else I've been just already talking about this morning and thinking about and focusing on, and something that Hannah really encourages me with is resting and things that will re-energise you. That's the concept of sharpen the saw. That cat has gone into an absolute mission digging that thing.
I don't mind her digging that, it's just if she digs my actual flowers.
Yeah, fair enough. We've got a bug hotel with a kind of top of soil, and the cat is taking it upon itself to that. That's its area. It's cool. Here she comes, dirty paws. Very pleased with herself.
So easily distracted.
It's true, yeah, but she's
like
cute.
A butterfly
She's
brain.
I mean, equally, this being a week ending, week starting thing, it could be a daily thing. Done kind of personal development stuff where it would be, do this every day, and the 3 wins part might be called journaling gratitude or whatever. Just think calling it 3 wins is actually, I prefer that.
Because you like to feel like you've won.
Yes, and gratitude feels a bit kind of, it's become a little bit
girly.
Wishy-washy. No, wishy-washy. It's become the kind of like, show gratitude. Okay. Well, I need to have a bit more practical.
It's important to be thankful.
100%, that's what I'm thankful for.
His wins.
It's the wins.
He's thankful for winning.
For wins. But, you know, thankful for wins. And to where I was going now. Oh, the reason I've got the why and the how is a long time ago. I read Sir Clive Woodward's book after he had coached England to win the World Cup in 2003, and then on to coaching the British Lions, which is another rugby team, combined the British Isles best players. He basically put his methods of success and what he developed over the years. And he said one of the things that a lot of people get the wrong way round is when things go well, they don't think about how and why it's going well. They think they just kind of go into cruise control, and then when it goes wrong, that's when they start to look at the whys and wherefores and the nuts and bolts. And what he said was that needs to really be flipped around, and when things go well, and whatever sphere you're in, be it sport, business, work, training, working towards something, when things go well, you need to analyse why it's going well, and then look at how to replicate that or better it. And actually, his analogy would have been to do with rugby and sport was, if you do everything in your kind of plan, in your system, and then it goes wrong, that's the time to kind of just take the foot off the gas, take a break, rather than going to cruise control when things are going well. So they have obviously times as sport, and anything can happen. And when they were expected to win against Wales and win the Grand Slam or whatever, and they didn't, rather than getting the team in for a meeting and doing loads of analysis about why they didn't win, just well, actually we put everything in place to win, we didn't win, it's stop, clean slate and start again, rather than going into a deep analysis then. So that's kind of what have the wins and the whys and the hows, is to kind of think, how's that come about? So if I use one example, last week put out a full 4 weeks worth of workouts, so that was actually 9 in total. Why did that come about? It was consistency and planning, and the how is that everything was, there was a system, there was timings in place, there was things we've got at home. So even after this, the kids are really great, and Hannah at just moving the sofa and things, so I'm ready to do the workout at 8 o'clock. And it's kind of like a little challenge really, of how smoothly and efficiently we can transition from sitting here drinking coffee to doing a workout at 8 o'clock. And yeah, it's just something that really kind of helped me. And as I said, it's not something I've not thought about or done bits of before. It's just that consistency of having it in place, really. What's Levi making? It smells nice.
Toast. He was
Toast.
trying to get it so that it jumped straight out of the toaster and onto his plate.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that was good yesterday at the co-op. We got some nice reduced bread.
75p.
75p. So yeah. So habits and habit stacking. I didn't know this is an interesting one. I'm gonna have to read it from the book. I put a little tab in it. The 80-20 rule. It's actually got a name.
Isn't it called the 80-20 rule?
No, it's the Pareto principle.
Oh.
Pareto principle.
PP.
PP, yeah. Pareto principle. So in this context of habits, with it being a business context, it is to 80-20 to dedicate 80%, 20. I'll read it because I'm getting the wrong way around. Right. So the actual quote is, if you follow the Pareto principle, commonly known as the 80-20 rule, focus on the 20% of actions that will yield you 80% of results. Start with habits that you believe will give you the greatest return on investment, generally time. An unflinching commitment to intelligently design habits is what separates the poor from the wealthy, because we're talking business thing. So,
Start. Okay.
do you want to
Yes.
go on? You read that
I'm
again.
interested.
I guess in kind of my context of fitness and things, it's usually talk about the 80-20 in terms of nutrition. That if kind of the other way around, if 80% is whole foods, good choices, things like that in terms of nutrition, the other 80% could be that little bit more flexible, or getting Easter egg in, or having a gin, Karen. Is that allows you to stay on track and keep it sustainable. In this context, it's saying investing 80% of your time, so you kind of best quality work to give you 80% of the outcome. And I guess you can have a look at that again in the fitness context of it's only going to be 10-20% maximum of your time day to day that is going to go into fitness, health, nutrition, but it's potentially going to have an 80% positive effect on your health, well-being, working towards your goals. So yeah, I guess it's flipping it into the right context, isn't it? That 80-20.
Yeah, and I think all of it comes back to balance. And I know that I bang on about it.
No, but you're right.
But actually, with nutrition, if 80-20, if 80% of the time you're eating good whole food,
Yeah.
and 20% of the time you're drinking gin, then actually, you can say, it keeps you on track and it gets you to your goals and all of those things,
Yeah.
which is true, but also it actually just brings balance to the way that you eat and stops it being a thing.
Yeah. No, you're right,
Food
that's
is something that so easily becomes this major focus in your life, whether that's because you're only eating chicken and broccoli, or because you're constantly counting things, or you're constantly weighing things, or everything is focused on food.
Yeah.
And actually, that's not a massively healthy mindset. Whereas when you implement 80-20, it just brings more balance to it. And it's important to track what you're eating. It's important to be aware of what you're eating. It's important to kind of think about those things and have a plan in place. But at the same time, if that's all you're focused on, you very quickly become an incredibly boring person that nobody wants to hang out with.
I've been there, I've been in the kitchen on a Sunday night with the door shut because Hannah wants to watch something, and I'm making chicken with potatoes and broccoli 6 times over.
We've been to people's houses for dinner, and Mark brings his own meal, and
I've
it's different.
never bought my own meal.
You have, yeah.
I've bought my own dessert before.
No, you bought your own food. To John and Jenny's.
That was dessert that time. It was the dessert.
We have different remembrances of this situation.
Yeah, totally.
But the point is, anyway, that actually, whether it's in business, whether it's in family, whether it's with food, actually, all these things, these principles, these habits that you can put in place, actually, eventually what they bring is balance. Eventually what they bring is a balance to life.
Yeah.
Which I think really is what people majoritively are after.
Totally, yeah. And my good friend Danny I've been chatting with him over the weekend on messages, and he's a teacher, works at the school I used to work at, and in holidays he therefore gets more time, and so he asked me to have a look at his calories and his macros, and can you help me get my fitness pal up and running again, which is great. And what I said to him last night was, run it for a week, be quite diligent for the week, this week while you can, while you're not working, and then you have a good idea of what that food looks like to fulfill that, and then you don't have to do that come Monday morning when he's back at work, driving the minibus round, dropping work off to the students, taking the free school meals in a city school. He won't need to track as much because it'll already be in his mind.
Yeah.
So he's created a habit of knowing what the amount of calories he wants to eat per day looks like, and then the new balance will then come from, actually, now I'm not at home, I've got to stop at, I'm going to go into school and have the food there preparing because I'm really busy, but I know what that looks like in the context of what I'm going to eat day to day, week to week.
Yeah.
And it's things like, Hannah was just saying about having that balance of knowing that this amount of food and this couple of beers is the right sort of balance day to day, and sometimes you have to do a little bit of extra work to then step back into a slightly better balanced place, and I'd like to think that's what I kind of advocate now, because I've been on the opposite side, as Hannah was saying, of kind of extreme habit tracking, or whatever you want to call it. It's become more than a habit, it's become an obsession. It's that balance, isn't it? Yeah, the balance has totally shifted towards this is what I'm all about, and I can't do anything else. And I think a lot of guys particularly can quite easily kind of go down a rabbit hole, and it's a running joke, isn't it? We can only focus on one thing at once. Don't try and talk to a guy whilst he's also
peeing. Yeah. I don't know why I said that.
Well, we can talk in the toilet, actually.
So you can multitask.
we can't. We find it really hard to multitask. So, and I think that can become not just individual little activities. That can become general, like, focus in life. So I have the utmost respect for people that have a good family balance and a good work-life balance, and are able to keep the things in the right place in their lives. And I think that kind of comes from comes from experience, really, and what's modelled to us as well. Growing up, my dad was an extremely hard worker, but that became his overall focus, and it was for the family, and it was for it did contribute. It was for all the right reasons, but that's all he did for a long, long time, to keep the family going, and that was his way of really contributing. That was just his.
It was a bit of a different time as well.
Outlook on life, yeah, totally different.
Because you're getting old now.
Oh,
yeah, Daddy.
but it's getting that. It's about getting that balance that Anna's talking about. It's really cool. Righty. So, if balance is something you're looking for, we certainly don't know everything, and different sources will have different ideas that work for you better, and Google it, find someone that has talked about this and put this in a way that would work well for you. Equally, whatever it is, we always ask with morning coffee, how can we support you today? And if you'd like the printed version of my reflect and refocus template, because I made one and sent it out to my guys. Drop me a comment or send me an email. Send me a message with your email. Don't put it in the comments, and we'll go from there. Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah, so have a really good bank holiday Monday. The family is gathering around, so we're going to have something to eat.
This is our cue now.
And then do the much vaunted room change round and work out at 8 o'clock. So have a really good day. A couple of comments I saw, but I'll respond afterwards. Speak very rudimentary Spanish here. We love Spain. Got family in Spain, but it's hola, ¿cómo estás?
We can ask for the essentials.
We can do the essentials. There's some way. There is a way of pressing a button on here so it translates it for you. And that might be afterwards, so you might have to re-watch it, press translate. You can also... True. You can also get captions on somehow. I don't know, because I did it to myself the other day whilst doing a workout. So watching myself, I turn captions on, so that's another way. You don't even have to have the sound on the video. But it's not a great translation in terms of, as he's going through, it says some of the words funny, but you can get the gist.
You could end up with highly bizarre translation.
You do. So we're going to jump off. This will be available to rewatch. Thank you for watching. I'll press finish and then upload. And have a great bank holiday Monday.
Enjoy bank holiday.
Yes.
See you soon.
This is Bear.